Hi guys, I'm recording from beautiful Colorado, so I thought I'd give you all a sneak peek of my morning view. Um, so I just wanted to start off by saying my experiences with ability grouping, currently teaching third grade. I use ability grouping for reading, and I feel like that's really important because clearly at third grade we've got some kids that are reading novels and chapter books, but then we've got other kids that are reading at grade level and then some that are reading below. So for reading specifically, I don't really see how I could do it any other way um, because they kind of need to be reading at their level. But one thing that I do to try to make them feel like they're doing the same thing as the other kids, even if they're a lower reader, is at the end of the year, we do a novel study. And so everybody gets to read a novel and it's at their level, but then it makes them feel a little bit more included in on some of those harder things that they see maybe the higher readers doing. As far as math goes, I used to be an ability grouped based math teacher. And so I'd have my high math kids and my on level math kids, and then my kids that struggled with math until this past year when we adopted the curriculum Eureka. And so we started whole group, but then I felt that I still needed to do some small group instruction. But Eureka's philosophy is that they want you to do mixed grouping. They want you to do whole group, but in your pods or however you have your desk set up, they like it to be mixed because of the different communication that goes on. So I tried to put that into my practice in small group. So starting this year, the first year I've ever done it, I did mixed grouping in math, and I will never go back. I loved it. I had some really rich conversations going on. I felt like I could give the kid that struggled maybe more one on one attention, but then the other kids who were on level or above level, or even my two gifted ones, I heard them getting into really deep discussions. And usually not with the other high kids, because what I found was if I had a higher kid and a higher kid talking about the math, they both were basically like, yeah, we get it. Whereas if I had a higher kid and an on level kid, or an on level kid and a lower math student talking, um, I found that the discussion got so much deeper because they were really trying to explain their thinking. And Eureka also does a great job of just prompting with really good questions. It doesn't have just give me your answer, but it has really good prompts for the teacher. So, I mean, I've seen it go both ways, and third grade's a little bit different. Um, as far as my gifted students, I had a really cool opportunity this year where I had somebody from UNK, a professor. He was actually a dad of one of my gifted students, and he came in and did a robotics course with them. So once a week, instead of doing their rotations, they still saw me, so they didn't miss their math lesson. But then after they saw me, they went with the professor for the robotics, and they talked about gear ratios and built them and created them and learned algorithms to go with it and figure out how they could build the robot. And it was awesome, and I feel like it was a really great experience for my gifted learners. Where I struggled with that was the other kids felt like it wasn't fair. They felt like they were left out. They were sad about it. Um, and I just try to tell them, like, fair isn't always equal, right? So it might not feel fair, but really, this is what those kids need, and this is what you need, and this is what we do. And I tried to do some other fun things with the kids in my classroom. So, like, I tried to do STEM things on Friday, so that they still got like an experience-based learning project that maybe wasn't the robots, but it was something else. So it's just hard as a teacher because you want to meet everyone's needs, but they know what's going on. They see that, like I said in reading, why do they get to read chapter books and I have to do a scripted, reading mastery worksheet? They pick up on those things, and you want to give each child what they need, but that also kind of creates a division in why do they get this and I don't get this. Um, I guess going forward, it was really interesting watching the 10 myths about gifted learners, and it really opened my eyes to um, you know, just because they are fine. I really liked myth number one. It was like basically said that they're fine on their own because they know how to do this. I thought that was really interesting. Like sometimes I can catch myself doing that. I focus a lot of my attention on my lower level learners or my on level learners because I just assume that my gifted or higher learners are where they need to be. So I really just don't even stop at their desk. And that really probably needs to be something that I need to work on. And even if I'm stopping at their desk and they understand, maybe I might stop at their desk and I give them a challenge question. So, really, for me, I think the takeaway is looking for more ways that I can continually challenge them and provide them with the same level of education and care that I do with my lower learners. So, all the time and effort I put into everything I do for my lower level learners, I need to focus the same time and energy on my gifted and on level because, like we were talking about in the last chapter, um, everybody deserves an equal opportunity to learn, and that's our job as educators is to provide them that. So I feel like there's a place for ability grouping, and I feel like there's a place for mixed grouping, and I feel like um, the last conclusion was making sure that I give enough time and energy to everybody. So I'll end with that, and I'll give you one last look at the beautiful mountains. I'm at my parents' house, and I wish I could come here all the time, but unfortunately I can't. So one more morning coffee is good today. All right, I hope you guys are having a great summer. See ya.